Hey guys, welcome to Fiddlefern Farmstead. I am Sarah. We are out here trying to do some things before the weather gets here. We're doing some winter prep. I've been trying to trim these goats' hooves one at a time. I didn't want to stress everybody out. Like I said in a previous video, I don't think that their hooves were trimmed very frequently from who we got them from, and so a little bit at a time. But Jake, if you want to come a little bit closer, buddy. So I'm working on Sophie today. Hers are pretty bad. Come on, lady. Here, do you have any feed? Give you a little bit more here. Trying to feed her a little bit at a time to keep her not stressed out. Oh, Jake, come here. This isn't gonna. So, if you look at her hoof, come here, Jake. You can see how bad it's gotten. So, you can see how it's turned over on her. This one's even cracked. So we're gonna try to clean them up the best we can. It'll help them. If you leave them like what they've done here, it can cause some serious pain, first of all, and it also can cause them to get a little strange in their step and how they're walking. You can tell that they're definitely not used to having their hooves trimmed. So we're going to try to get it cleaned up. So that was the before, and I'm going to work on her for a little bit, and then I'll show you the after. So what I'm going to do, you kind of have to be careful. Once they get like this, it's kind of hard because they've gotten to a point where you don't know where their blood flow is coming from. So we start by trimming off as much of the excess as we can to get to where we can start to see what's going on at that pad. These need to be sharpened. I've already had to use them so many times. They're not as sharp as they were when I bought them. These shears are not great. So you can see all the buildup starting to come in. That can cause infection. Ooh, we're going forward. If I start to fall into you, dude, you just gonna have to up and run, man.
That's not good because I'm not in a good running position.
So you can start to see the white. That's what we're looking for, but it's definitely grown way too much. We're going to take some of this off. I like to get up in between and kind of clean that side wall off. This will definitely, even if I don't get it perfect today, it'll definitely help her feel way more comfortable.
Yeah. It's like having your ears full of earwax and then you finally get your ears cleaned out.
It's a strange comparison, but sure.
It feels good.
So this one I'm a little worried about because it's cracked.
Ooh, yeah, you see that? Almost like see that weird coloring on the inside?
I do. And she doesn't like it either. Okay. It's okay, Sophie. It's okay. But, yep, she doesn't like that. I know, honey. I know. This hoof is cracked. So, I may need your help here a little. She's not even about the feed right now. wish you weren't sideways. Can you move this way? Just a little bit. Nope. Okay. Oh, my hair's coming out from timeout. Gotta do a hair reset. Oh, I just brushed my hand up against the mic. I should have brought a hair bow out here. One more time, Sophie. Okay. I can't see that cracked one. I got some of it off. I know. I'm sure it's definitely not comfortable. Usually you can see a hole down here at the bottom, and that's like where buildup can get in and get infected. And we definitely don't want that. I'm trying to cut until I don't see a hole anymore. When their hooves are like this, it's usually good to have some quick clot on hand just in case. Should have picked some up today. Oh, that's my leg. Yep. Okay, honey, I know. It should feel much better when we're done, though. I can't even. She doesn't like when I get close to that crack. I wouldn't be either. Okay. I think I've got. I don't want to stress her out too much. I just want it to not. I want it to be where she doesn't have a hoof laid over. Please don't kick me. This is probably not the best situation here.
Not a fan.
I can't even see.
Splayed out real bad.
Yep.
I need to get Martin to do something about that when he shows up.
I got to go get a hair bow. This was not smart to do without my hair pulled up. This one's still way longer. The cracked one I've got pretty.
My face is so cold right now.
Should have been out here the other day when the wind was blowing. That was pretty intense. So this looks way better than it did. I feel like I'm stressing her out. Don't sit on me. We're not laid over anywhere. This right here is still a little bit. This is where I'm worried I'm going to get. So you can kind of see where you're starting to get kind of lower to that blood supply. And that's what we don't want to cut into. But hopefully once we get a good little base here where she's not walking on her hoof, she's walking on the pads again, I can start to come in every month and just do a little bit more each time. I can see a little bit of pink right there. So I'm going to stop. Let's see. That's better than it was, ma'am. Oh, I got stuck on the wall. Okay. Now, let me see for a second, bud. You can see, hey, honey, I know. You can see these front hooves, how they're splayed out like this. That is definitely not what you want. So, ma'am, that is my beanie you're chewing on. So we're trying to get her where she's comfortable. She's not digging the harness, which I wouldn't either. So I'm going to work on these front hooves, and then we'll check back with you in just a minute. So I think I've got all of the hooves the best that I can trimmed up. I'll show you in just a minute. I'm letting her eat a little bit of feed out of this bucket. But I think she's got some permanent splaying, mainly because the guy that had her before us just didn't trim hooves. But it looks like she's got some permanent splaying. I've never had to use a, I don't know the technical term, but the shaver for the pads, but she could probably benefit from them. I've always done like a trimming every month when I had goats before, and I never had like a problem with hooves being laid over onto the pad. But I tried to get as much of the pockets cleaned out as best I could. Turn you around, I'll show you. So the back ones definitely still have some splaying. I've done as best I can with this one. I don't want to stress her out too much. I may try to get in there maybe next week and try to do some more. And that one is the same. This inside hoof toe is like super splayed. The front ones I got a little bit better than the back ones. That one's still kind of splayed, but you can see like the separation in between the two. That's from it being those hooves being laid over. And if you don't take care of the hooves, those are the things that you're going to look at having. So I was mainly worried about the infection when I saw hers, but I've got the pockets cleaned out pretty good. I can see the pads there. I thought I was going to need the blue coat on one of them because she had a little bit of bleeding, but I cut into it and it didn't have much bleeding on it anymore. But I think she's done being on this harness, so we're going to get her back in with the girls real quick.
What's carrying the current? That way, the animals see it, and they can say, "Hey, that white thing is what is electric." So we're not gonna touch that. So
What would happen if you were to not put that in the ground?
nothing. It won't. So it reads the path to ground. So you stick this in the ground, you know that's not hot. You can see that one's hot. Now if you reach up here, see the switch over here? This down is on energy saver. The middle is
So getting ready for this weather that we're not used to. We gave the girls a new bale of hay. We got that first one really quickly, and they didn't seem to be eating as much of it. This one they're like attacking, so we think that they like that hay in there way more than what we had, but they should be good. Luna, I know we talked about her having a hello. She's still kind of whatever about coming up to people. If I have a feed bucket in my hand, she's all about it. But I know we talked about her muddy butt and whether we thought she was sick or not, but she, it looks like the bad poops have stopped, and now she just has a really messy butt. Once I get her a little bit more used to me, I'd love to wash her rear end off, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. But thankful that the messiness has stopped. In the meantime, I do definitely think it was them starting to eat all this greener stuff that they're not used to. Her and Cheese get along most of the time, but once the boss comes up, the boss isn't fond of anybody in the way of what she wants. Well, isn't that just sweet? She's enjoying that. Oh, the sun feels good too, huh? So, in order to get ready for more of this winter weather, let's see if I can zoom in on it. We have another shed. So Jared went and bought everything yesterday to build us another shed. We saw that the bull had taken over this shed here in the front, and we could tell that the bucks weren't gonna share a home. So we wanted them to be able to get out of the rain, and apparently we're gonna have some snow Friday. We wanted to get them a place where they could go lay down and get out of all that and try to get a little bit more warm. So we were hoping that the bull, would take up residence in the back there, but it's not looking like it. He's definitely still a fan of this one up here in the front. So I think we're going to try, which sucks, mainly one because, well, if we want to bring them hay, we have the square bales for the goats. That's what we've been feeding the girls. So if we want to give them that kind of hay, we will have to carry it all the way back there. We're kind of still, I think, going to wait a couple more days and see which one he'll choose. But this morning he was laying down in the front one, so I don't feel like he's going to change. Cool. I'm going to show everybody your ice boot. Things that we're not used to in the South. Ice. Well, we're used to the ice, but it usually comes in.
It takes like 2
small
years
amounts.
for us to snow, too.
Yeah, it's been a while, but they're saying it's going to come down pretty good on Friday here. So we'll see. Jacob's going to have to video some of it.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. If you don't mind, I'll record some of it.
You will?
Oh, look, lightning
Okay.
bolt.
Well, you may have to use your GoPro, because I might take this with me and show everybody Biltmore while we're there. Your hand's cold?
Hello.
Anyway, squirreled off. We're gonna run that squirrel back. This morning he was in this front shelter, so I don't think that he's gonna be taking up residence back there. When we first took everything back there and we took some straw and stuff back to that shelter, he stayed back there yesterday afternoon, and he even laid down, not in it, but right outside of it. Sorry, I keep sniffling. My nose is like going crazy. But the boys, the bucks, I haven't seen them go in that back one yet, so I'm hoping they will eventually, especially maybe when it starts, like, the snow starts coming down. They'll be like, well, old boy's in the front one, let's go to the back. But yeah, it's gonna suck because they're cleaning each other. They're taking turns. It's kind of funny because Haley's so much bigger than Luna. Luna's a year and Haley is 4. But I don't think Luna's going to get too much bigger because she's already a year and 3 months. Is that doing it for you? It's enjoyable. Yeah. But what I was saying, it's going to suck having to run the square bales back to that shelter when I was hoping that he would go to that one and we could just keep doing the buck stuff back here. Up here at the front. It would be ideal if they would eat the same hay as the bull. But once we changed out this bale for the girls, and they seem to like it a little bit more, so I'm wondering if maybe once we change out that hay up here, that it'll be a little bit better, and they'll start eating the same hay as him as well, and we won't have to worry about putting hay in their hay feeder at all. So yesterday, after Jared got done with that shed, it had a farm down the road also needing one for their animals, so Jared went down and helped them also build one of those sheds out there at their farm, which they're coming in handy. Everybody says dry in them. We enjoy them, and our animals seem to be enjoying them as well. So, and it's always nice to help somebody else, especially when it comes to all this farm stuff, because you get kind of, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. And you want to, what are you doing? You like your, where are you at back there? There he is. But, yeah, so me and Jake are headed down to the side-by-side. I'm going to get some metal rods. I told you the other day we got to find the water pipe before the power company comes out to trench in power to the barn. Mainly because we don't want them, if they hit our water, then it's on us. But if we dig it up and we know where the water line is, they can avoid cutting that water line. So we're going to grab those and we'll be right back. Okay. Ooh, Lord Jesus. So Jared's already come out here and found where the water starts. I'm going to walk down here and see if I can see the direction that the pipe is going. We found it where they teed off from it. They have a hose pipe run out back for their pool, for the pool that was out here. Let me get the sun out from behind me. So we knew that they had teed off of it somewhere, but he's dug. Okay, so turn around. My fingers are so flippin' cold. Okay, I think I've got the gimbal figured out. So this is where they had teed off of it. You can kind of see down in there. There we go. That's much better. That is where they teed off of it. And then this is the actual pipe. So I'm going to try to find it up here where we've marked where we want the power run to the barn. We have flags from the pole to the barn. So as long as we can find the water line where flags are, we should be good, and we won't have to pay for if they hit it after we find it, then it's on them and they have to pay to have it fixed. But if we don't find the water line and they hit it, then we have to have it fixed. So we're going to try to find it real quick. Okay, so since I already know where the water is, I can kind of walk in that general direction to where we have our flags and start walking. But what I'm going to use is something, I think it's called water witching. I use two metal, they're metal flag pole thingies. I just took the flags off of them and I bent them at an angle. So I'm going to kind of walk where I think it is up to our flags, and then I'll start doing this up there. So that way I know kind of where everything is. All right, Jake, you gonna walk with me? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is you have to hold these really loosely. I say all this and I'm thinking like there's people who sit and say yes or no. Okay, anyway, you hold them really loosely and you have them pointed out in front of you like this. The wind is not going to be our friend today. So I'm not really holding on to them at all. They're really loose in my hands. So I put my boot down where I think, because I walked straight from that pipe all the way up here, and I put my boot where I think I made like an indentation in the ground where. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to these and walk towards where I put my boot in the ground. And I'm hoping somewhere around that area, because we have a flag here and a flag there. And that's where we want the power to be trenched up here to the barn. So I'm hoping somewhere in between here, but the wind is kind of blowing, so it's kind of hard. So I shouldn't be having anything going on right here. The wind is just, might not work. Okay, so I'm going to start walking towards that spot. And supposedly, when they start to cross like this, you're standing up under a water source. So we're gonna try it out. So if I'm right, where I put my boot, we should have a water pipe somewhere right there. Jake, what are you doing? I'm gonna try to walk a little bit at a diagonal and see if we can find it that way.
Beep, 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 beep.
So that kind of lines up exactly to where I know where the water is coming from down there. I'm going to try to dig a couple spots. Jared had to run to Lowe's to grab a couple of things for the barn as we get ready for winter. So I'm going to do some digging, and then when I come back, we'll see if I found water. I'm going to tell you that I've done this before, and it worked. But apparently today, it's not going to work. I dug a trench. The wind's kind of blowing, so it's kind of hard. Me and Jared both were getting like the same, like the rods were crossing at the same spot for both of us. So the only thing that I can think is like maybe it's buried deeper than it is at the original spot, because neither of us can find it. I dug and he dug, and so I'm guessing it's deeper than what we're thinking. So we're going to take a break from this before either of us. I dug a whole trench, and then he came in and dug some more. So who knows? But we're going to find it. We have to find it. But yeah, so we're going to try again in a little while. Hopefully today we'll find it. If not, we're going to try tomorrow. Yeah, it's a little aggravating when you can't find something, especially when you've dug across the whole entire way. I don't know. But maybe tomorrow when I check back with you, we'll find it. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And hopefully we'll, on the next one, have a water line to show you. Yeah. But thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye. See ya.